Well, why don't we go ahead and start? Because I know we only have until about quarter of the hour, or quarter of one your time. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna put a couple things in the chat, which are first of all my contact information. So if you ever should need anything from me, and we'll certainly follow up with you later as well. Neither one of you are advisors. There is an advisor Zoom in about an hour. So if anybody, we had a couple of advisors sign up, so I was going to give the registration link there. But I'm also just going to give you another link, and I'll reiterate these later, which is how to sign up for FamGuru, just so you have it there. And so that's just to get things started. So in any event, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. And I mean, obviously, my name is Carrie Wallace. I'm the founder of FamGuru. I'm also a travel advisor, and I've been an advisor for more than 20 years. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is fam trips, educationals, immersions, so many cool names out there, study tours, whatever you want to call them. And while FAMs, of course, are fun for us advisors, one of my other favorite topics right now is FAM effectiveness and how do we maximize our FAM trips, because it's really great. We have a lot of fun, but this is a marketing program. We all, even from a supplier point of view and a advisor point of view, this is something that has to pay for us. We're investing time and money to be there, and it has to be something that will build our businesses on both sides, right? So what I'd like to do is just outline the agenda that I have in mind for today, and then we'll start working through that. And so I'll start with sharing a bit more about what is FamGuru and why does it exist. And then we'll take a look at FamGuru for suppliers, because we're here to do a demo to show you, put hands on and show you what this is. And we'll also take a look at FamGuru for advisors, because it's important for you to see what the advisors see. You're putting together structure, the advisors are using that structure. How do those two compare? We'll talk about business model. We'll do some Q&A, and we'll look at the future. Where is FamGuru going? And so, how does that sound as a plan for today? Good.
Sounds
Cool.
great.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. All right. I'm going to start off with a study that I heard about earlier this summer, and I can get this for you, but someone studied the happiness of a traveler on a trip, and the actual happiness of on the trip, they measured this when they were actually traveling, is only 15%. 50% of the happiness was looking forward to the trip. 35% of the happiness was looking back at the trip. Now, that's a regular traveler. There's a distinct before, during, and after portion of the trip. I think it's the same for fam trips. There is a before, a during, and an after. And if only 15% of our advisor happiness is happening when they're interacting with your properties, your destination, your experiences, then it's important to be thinking about what are we doing before and after, because that's when people are really tuned in and really excited about what it is you provide. And so that's what FamGuru is doing. It's helping us take a look at what do we do before the trip to engage with the advisors and to get ready and to make things simpler? What do we do during the trip to be able to collect information and experience the location? And what do we do after in terms of follow-up to be building those raving fans, those people who are going to be your annuity streams from here on out? And too often, I don't think we think about that in the context of our travelers or in the context of our fam trips. And so that's one thing that I'll start with. But what is FamGuru? Fundamentally, it's a web and a mobile application that helps advisors like me and travel suppliers get organized with our FAMs so that we can become more capable of taking that information and selling it to our clients. So if we're not organized, we have problems selling. And honestly, with my background in travel advising, I've been on so many trips. However, I was always so frustrated because you go on a great trip, you see 8 hotels, dine at 7 restaurants, do 5 activities, and you have this amazing experience that you want to sell to your clients and market and share with your agency. However, you come back to 600 emails in your inbox. No presentation yet, Angelique. Thank you. We'll get there. I'm just going to talk for a moment, and then we'll dive in. And actually, there will be no PowerPoint today. We're actually going to look at a live demo in a moment. Thank goodness. And so, but for me, it was always so frustrating that I could not get organized because I saw too many things and I had too much going on. And how do I grow my business that way? How do I return this amazing, how do I return the business to my host? And so I started FamGuru, and I said, well, why can't I just take my notes, upload my photos, have it all in one place and press a button and generate a report back to my clients and my agency? Why isn't there an app for that? Huh. And so during the pandemic, when all of our business went like this and I had no clients and no money, I had time. So I started out by creating an advisor app and to be able to record all of this information so I could keep it straight. My team could keep it straight. I have a boutique agency, and that other advisors could keep it straight. However, I quickly realized that our supplier partners have issues as well, because you all are spending hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars to create this great experience for us. But if we cannot get organized such that we can come back and sell that experience to our clients, then you have a problem too. So we're incredibly aligned on what it is we need to do. The advisors need to be organized so that we can market and sell and become brand ambassadors and advocates for what it is you do. And so we created a side for FamGuru called FamGuru for Suppliers. The two sides interact, and it's to help you all get organized so that you can help us get organized so that we can all sell more travel. So far, so good? Good. All right. So that's sort of how it all came about. So let's take a look at FamGuru for Suppliers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And let's see, allow me to share. Okay. I hope I've got the right screen. Even multiple years into this, I still wonder if I get this right. All right. Can you also, okay, good. I see thumbs up from Angelique. Terrific. All right, so welcome to FamGuru. What we're looking at is FamGuru for Suppliers, and this starts on a website. I also want to say that on our mobile app, you can do anything that you see on the website, also on the mobile app. So this is the homepage for FamGuru for Suppliers. We have a list of all the active trips we have going on, and that's anything that is happening currently or in the future. And we have all of our past trips, so we can see what it is that we've done if we need to refer back to that. I'll start by showing, let's see, my Zoom thing is in the way here. If you want to start your trip, let's say you want to create a fam trip, it's very easy to do that. And go
Carrie,
ahead.
just one question. So this is unique to um unique to me or to the company, right? So only
Correct.
my individual past trips would show up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so yes, it's not something that's visible to people outside of your organization, for example. It's visible to you, and it's visible to the advisors and on the trip, and anyone you're bringing in, any of your team members you're bringing into the trip, for example. So anyway, you essentially what you're doing is you're organizing the trip structure that's being pushed out to the advisors on their phones so that they can use that when they travel. And this is how we start that process. It's meant to be very easy, and it's meant to take time out of the planning process, but the ultimate goal is to make us all more effective. So you're setting up a trip, you would come in here and you would upload your hero image. This will be the thumbnail that represents this trip today, on the trip, tomorrow, 5 years from now for the advisors when they refer back to the archive that they're creating. It's the name, your organization, starting and end date, trip invitation text. You're going to be inviting advisors into your trip once it's created. And so this will be what appears on the email saying, hey, join us on this trip, download FamGuru in the process, and we're looking forward to having you. Also trip description. So as the advisor is looking at the trip, a few sentences about what this was so they can remember again now and in the future, because they might have several trips that are ultimately on their FamGuru. We won't actually do this right now, but just to show you how easy it is to give it a start. So we'll go back to the homepage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at a past trip. And I have several because we've done a lot of different trips and testing. So I'm going to do this one. It's a trip I actually took in January to Bermuda. So this is the trip homepage. What you see on the right is the hero image that you've chosen. Again, that's consistent across all platforms and over time. And if we want to do any editing, we can come here and change those dates, change that name, whatever you need to do. And we have just a bit of a snapshot of what's going on in your trip, how many invited, how many pending, and countdown is passed. So the countdown is at 0. And a snapshot of who are the participants, and if we have any notifications. If we're actually traveling, you'll see what the next activities are coming up today. So far, so good. Hope so. All right. All right, let's start with the itinerary actually. And it's super easy to put it together. We have either a hotel stay, a hotel site inspection, a restaurant, or something else. And once it's simple to add it. We'll just do one right here. Let's just add Hilton, Chicago, South Michigan Avenue, select, and Google pulls this information in. We also have a way to do a library. So if you're dealing with the same hotels over and over again, you can save them in a library and simply pull them in to the itinerary. If it's not already in your library, you can bring it in through Google Maps, and you can provide the check-in date, check-out, hour in and out, and any contacts for the property, because that's actually really important to have on file. What we're doing right now is we're creating the first part of the advisor archive. So this is sort of the professional part. So you want to put your best foot forward. If you're working with a hotelier, you can invite them into FamGuru so that they can provide this information to you and help you with the itinerary. So making sure, Angelique, you'd be a contact, Richard, you'd be a contact, and a beautiful description of the property, in this case, website, and adding whatever phone number you want. On the next column, you can provide our professional photos. I love this part because as an advisor, then I can warm up my social media audiences. If I have something, hey, I'm headed to Hawaii next week, and here's a couple photos, and keep me in mind, or anything I can see for you, bring back for you, files. And for a hotel, this could be your spa menu, your activity list, your restaurant menus. It could also be your sustainability initiatives, whatever it is that you want there. And again, always available to the advisor, takes everything off of email and keeps it in one place. There's not, that used to drive me crazy as an advisor. You go on a trip, you see 10 hotels, you have 10 emails with 15 PDFs afterwards. Ouch, I'm never going to find that. So this keeps it all in one place, which I love. Anyways, we won't actually go ahead and confirm this. We'll just go back to our itinerary. We'll just get out of that. So you can see how easy it is to add a hotel. You can also add other bookings. In this case, I wanted to add in things like flight from Charlotte to Bermuda. What were my impression? And again, this structure is what's getting pushed out to the advisor. So you want to give them places where they can take their notes. Bermuda general notes. Every advisor wants to comment on the destination. So if you're moving, you have one destination, or maybe you're moving between several, you could do a general notes for each city that you're in or each island that you're on. So I also wanted to comment on taxi services, hotel stay in gorgeous Bermuda resort. I will show you a little bit about what's there. So this is something, my one professional photo that I put in here. But if I want to add that to the library, I can do that. If I want to edit that, I can do that. So very simple to work with the itinerary. Let's see, I don't think there's much else to it. Let's also then go to just a quick, and if you want to duplicate something, breakfast at leisure every day, you can duplicate that. Simple. Taking a look at participants. Now, once you have the itinerary in place, you have the ability to add participants. So you would bring that on. Once you put the email address in, you would then be able to choose whether that person is an admin, so someone on your team, or a hotelier that you're inviting in, or a DMC you're inviting in, an advisor, or a viewer, just on a need-to-know basis. And once you do that, they get that invitation we talked about earlier in their inbox. That invitation will say, please download. If they don't already have FamGuru, they'll be invited to download FamGuru. Once they get the app on their phones, or once they have it on their desktop, they'll just accept the trip, and then you'll see them as confirmed. In this case, this is a demonstration. Obviously, we have a few things pending. And so this is where, as you add people, you'll see them in this list, and you can start to track their status. I will also talk a little bit about documents. Sometimes we need passport information, we need waiver forms, we need to know that you've taken your educational class and completed your certificate. We need your flight information. And so you have the ability here, again, this takes it all off of email, to put it in the requirements section. And for example, passport copy. And so let's take a look at that. And so, Carrie, shoot, she has not submitted her passport copy. And so you can see the status of what everybody has done. And we'll show you in the advisor app what Carrie can, how Carrie can submit that to you. And you have the ability to approve or reject every one of these requirements coming in to make sure they didn't upload a picture of their cute dog. And if they did, you could say cute dog, try again. And so there's again, taking it all off of email, because our email inboxes are just ridiculous these days, aren't they?
So Carrie, if for instance, since you did not submit, am I able to like send you a notification right from here?
So the nice thing about FamGuru is you set a deadline and it starts pinging the advisor automatically every couple of days. Hey, you have to do this. An email comes into their inbox, a notification comes on the app. And so they are chasing for you. So the software is chasing for you. That's nice. I've heard that from a lot of people. If we go back and, we're getting close to the deadline and you still don't see this, you do want to contact them directly to see if they're still really interested in joining you. Maybe they've said they are, but maybe they're not serious after all. What's the status, guys? You're not doing this. But the idea is to take some of that burden off of you. From the standpoint of the invitation, if they haven't done that, you can go here and you can resend the invite, or you can copy an invite to join here if you're worried about it not going into their spam. We're finding that 90% of our invites are getting into the inbox. Fortunately, that's good. So most people are indeed finding that invitation from FamGuru. Is that good, Angelique? Good. All right.
Yeah,
So
I'm just thinking about, how you have I love that you can have multiple requirements because the passport, like dietary, emergency contact, and I know in past trips I have a folder like with all that information. So being
right.
able just to have all of this on an app is
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, in one place. Now let's take a look at something here. So if you want to get more detail on a given participant, let's go here. So we can see on an individual basis who submitted what and what the status is if we do need to make a phone call. And we also, I'll start here. The advisor has a profile, and once they accept your trip, the profile details come into FamGuru. And so what we have here, birthday, yes, I was born in 2022. And my mobile number. So you have all of this beforehand instead of passing the WhatsApp group around to get everybody's phone numbers in your group, locations, company name. We are adding in things like host agency that will be coming soon. So you have all of that detail. The socials, so you can follow each other. Eventually, we'll be able to aggregate that so everybody has everyone's socials, so we know all the handles and hashtags going into the trip, because that's such a pain when you're on the trip and you're trying to get them to do their social. My different organizations that I belong to, and my emergency contact. Professional details. We ask the advisor to share a bit of information about themselves so that your team on the ground knows who are these people. Description, awards and recognitions, destinations I want to know better as an advisor, destinations I sell most often. In the future, we will have the ability for our suppliers to go into the database of advisors and to be able to search for people that may be most appropriate for your trips, because half the battle is the right advisor on the right trip at the right time. Fit is everything, just like with our clients, right? Our travelers. And then finally, we all need dietary restrictions. Let's have the advisor keep it in one place forever and not have to give it to 15 people over the course of a year. And so that's all there for you. What I will also want to share is the collection of that information, compilation of information is challenging. So we can export, if you want this back of house, you can export a dossier of the advisors. And so let's say you're meeting the general manager at the hotel for dinner one night. You can give him the dossiers and he can do a quick read through and know who he's meeting for dinner. And so let's open up this doc, and it went onto my other screen. Let me move it over. Hopefully, come on, let's go over here. There we go. Can you all see that? So here is my dossier, my photo, personal details, professional details, and my dietaries. So automatically generated, no more copy paste email. Moving that out of the way, let me go back. Oh, I moved the wrong thing out of it. The other thing we can do in participants is we can export the list of all of the details. So here's a spreadsheet, because we're all building a spreadsheet anyway, right? I'll pull that over from my other screen once it opens. If it opens, there we go. So you have the ability, and this is obviously not, we don't have a big group here, but here is the beginning of that spreadsheet that so many of us are putting together, all of the dietaries, the cell phone, and to be able to compile that across the different advisors. We are working on this to be more flexible. We know that everybody needs a slightly different set of columns. So we want also to be able to pull in the flight information here. We will have that at some point in the future. But as you can see where we're going is we have a lot of information. Let's automate it. Let's pull it together so we can use it. And hopefully if you've got a spreadsheet, we can import these in and start complementing that. So far, so good. Okay, let me close out of Excel. The other thing I'll mention here is when the advisor is on the trip, you can start to see the advisor's reviews. So we have a two-tiered review structure. We have their public notes and they have their private notes. Advisors all, are happy to share constructive feedback, but they also want a private space if they need to say, do not sell room 210. However, let's see, as they're going along, you can see their engagement on the trip. What are they saying? Photos, general notes about Bermuda. Obviously was very verbose when I was doing that review. But what's nice is some of our clients right now are compiling all of this information at the end of the trip because it's a really, really powerful 360-degree view of what it is they've done as a group. And that's wonderful to feed back to the people on the ground, Angelique, your clients, for example. And it's wonderful to share with the advisors too, because then they can see what their colleagues said. And, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. I also think if you anonymize this, you take out all the personal photos and you take out all the advisor's name and just say advisor 123, powerful sales tool to be able to say, I took these advisors here. This is what they said. Yeah, there's constructive feedback. Maybe that one wasn't, but it's really real, right? As an advisor, I look at that and say, that's my peers. I believe what they say. How are we doing on time here? We're doing all right. So there's just a little bit about how participants work. And we've talked about itinerary. The other thing I love is the gallery. And so these are photos that you can preload for the upcoming trip. And again, I can take any one of those as an advisor, put it out on my social media and through my phone and start to warm up my audiences. This also serves as the shared gallery as we're going along. So this might be the sundowner photos or the best suite photo or things that, or the group photo during dinner. And so we have the ability to, add a photo credit here and there'll be descriptions as well. We want to geotag these too, because sometimes you're going through a lot of places. It'd be nice to know that it's in Kyoto versus Tokyo versus Osaka or something like that if you're in Japan. I'm on a mission to replace the WhatsApp group, actually, because everybody does WhatsApp. That's great. We love that and shares, but people can leave the group. You go back in a year and a half and WhatsApp has put your data and your photos and your videos on ice and you can't get it out. And so this, the chat and the gallery should form part of that archive that advisors can refer to now and in the future. So not only do we have a shared gallery, but we also have a new chat feature. I won't go into it right now, but the idea is so that we don't have to work off of multiple platforms. We can just use FamGuru and this will be there forever and ever. If you put a photo in the chat, it'll ask if you want to put it in the gallery. So it's usually people do. We don't have video yet, but I'm hoping to work on that in the fourth quarter. That's a slightly different beast, but we're getting there. Also files, this could be destination files, this could be vaccination requirements, this could be anything that you want to share about your particular trip. If it's something that you just want to have for the admins on your team or for anybody, you can select that. And then again, that's part of the archive. We've talked about requirements, we've talked about chat. Notifications will actually, if somebody submits one of those requirements, you'll get a notification. You'll see this in your email. You'll see it in your, you'll see a notification up here like that. Broadcast is going to go away now that we have chat. That was a one-way broadcast while we were working on creating the chat feature. Let's see, what I'll also share here is just a bit about the account. We looked at this from the host's point of view, but this is just how this is just me. But if I want to come here and edit my dietaries, easy to do. We also have the ability to see what my FamGuru plan is. If I'm a supplier plan, if I'm an advisor plan, manage my account and my emails. Also set up preferences. When do I want to see a notification? When do I want to see an email? So let me go back to over. And so here we are back at our trip. One of the things that's really, really nice, I'll show this to you on the app, but we have the ability to export a trip report. So let's say you've gone and you as hosts of the educational can also do your own notes and photos as you're going along because your input is important too, especially important. And you can export a trip report of all of that information. Well, I'll show you how to do that once we get to the advisor app, because it's a bit more geared towards the advisor. But what did we do? What did I think? What do my photos say? So automate all of that information. Let me just take let me take a deep breath right now, because I've been talking a lot, and let me see what questions either of you might have right now so far, before we maybe toggle over to advisors so you can see what they're seeing. Okay.
I don't have any questions.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, cool. So now that is FamGuru for suppliers. And so the idea, again, is we're engaging really deeply with the advisors up front, which I appreciate. You're taking things off of email, you're automating things for me, the advisor. We're forming a great relationship beforehand. And for you all, we advisors are hard cats to herd. I mean, we're the worst when it comes to our own travels, right? And so that is, we want to make that process easier for you as well. So let me unshare this. And now I am going to share, you see this other little Carrie Wallace on the screen? That is my phone, actually. And so I'm going to go there and I'm going to share my phone screen. I never knew this was possible before starting a software company. Crazy. So let's see about this. Let me just start a broadcast here. Bear with me a second. And you'll soon see, hopefully, there it is. Carrie's phone screen. All right. My sunflower. And there's FamGuru. Now we're going to see how it looks. It looks very similar, actually, to the website. And I want to reiterate that whether you're an advisor or a supplier, you can do all of what we're doing today on the website or on the app. And so if you're on the run, Angelique, and you have to add something to the itinerary at the last moment, you can do it on your phone. You don't have to be logged into your computer. You can add that element to your itinerary as you go. So these are my active and my future Fam trips. Yes, I'm going to Switzerland soon. And yes, we are working with Ensemble on a trial basis there in AMA Waterways. That's exciting. And then I'm going to go down to our prior, so a lot of things that I've been testing, right? So let's see, where is it? There we are, this one, the same one. So welcome to the advisor app. And once again, we see here at the top, we see the hero image that we've chosen. And we see, first thing I should know is about my required documents. I do have to do that. I have to submit that passport. And here we go. How do I do that? I would add it down here and I would upload the file. Or if it's just information, also I would delete my documents after trip ends, because probably you don't need that afterwards, and privacy is important, but you do need to share that with your host. Okay. And so let's go back here to my itinerary. So now let me go back to the trip. Any notifications? None at the moment. And so this little menu in the upper left, these 3 bars, will look very similar to what we just saw on the website. And for me as an advisor, if I go here, I can see the whole itinerary. I can click in to see exactly what it was you've set the structure up for me. It's now on my phone. These stay in sync, by the way. So if you put something in there a couple minutes later, it'll be resident in my phone, not to worry. If you want to put this in offline mode and you don't want the advisors to see it while you're working on it, you can take it, you can hide it from them, or we'll put it back into online mode. And so then, but what's different about this from an advisor perspective is this is where we take our notes, right? This is where we do our reviews and add our photos. So I'm going to show you this. Bermuda General Notes was another type of booking. So very simple to set up. That's all you put in to begin with. But here we want to, I as an advisor would like to add my insights. And so I'll show you, or go into the edit mode. So what we have here are the 2 tiers that we were talking about, the public notes that we have here and the photos that I'm able to add. Oh, and my you can use dictation. You see this little icon in the lower right hand corner, so advisors don't have to type, they can just talk. That's why I have so much text here. What did I think of this experience, first of all, because that's important, right? And if I want to add a photo, and you can do that either by coming from your gallery or coming from your camera. You can take a picture right there, right then, and save it. We won't save right now. We'll just get out of it. But here's everything some general photos I wanted to put in my general public notes. And then what I thought. Now we'll scroll down. Again, I was very verbose here. Here's the private section, my private comments. And also what I love is, who is this good for? Who should this be? Family, multi-gen, couples, foodies, right? I need to remember this. And more than that, I should really make this shorter because it's a long scroll. What specific clients? The Smiths, the Jones family, because advisors, we're not often thinking about, oh, we're thinking, how much fun is this? How cool is this? I love my job. But they're not connecting the dots to what client needs to see this. And so we want to make sure they're reminded to do that. So we'll go back and we'll discard the change. And if I just want to take a look at my photos, there they are, all in one place. So I'm starting to form the advisor portion of my archive. What I'd like to show you too is a hotel, because that goes quite a bit deeper in the whole experience. So it's the same thing. This is the information here that you've shared with me up front. If I had contacts, there would be contacts in there. And let's go to the insights page again. Now, as you see, it's deeper. We have our notes and we have our public and private like before. And we also have contacts. So anything that wasn't preloaded, maybe I met the concierge and I wanted to keep that person's information on file, I would add it here. If the rooms, oh my goodness. We take hundreds of photos when we're on a trip and we take all the room photos, but in 6 months, I guarantee you, I will not know what that hotel is. And sure enough, that it was the junior suite that I want to tell my client about at that moment. So here's where we get to put it all in one place as we go. And sure enough, that is the ocean view to Queens. And these are the photos that I took of the ocean view to Queens. I won't find those later. So it's really lovely to have that if I know I've got families, for example. And what was the view? What was my commentary about it? In the future, we'll also have the ability for the hotel to preload all of these room types, so the advisor does not need to type all of this in. But it's it's easy for them. It takes time.
That's good stuff. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it does take time, right? And so we want to. So that's on my radar screen as a next step for sure. But here, yeah, terrific. And then it's always here in my archive to remember what it is I saw. And then these are our food and beverage outlets and all the different ones. And again, photos and comments of everyone. And then wellness, same thing, gym, spa, tennis courts, photos and comments. And then one of my other favorites is common areas, because I always forgot as an advisor to go see the common areas if I didn't necessarily see them on the inspection. So how do I remember? I go to plus, I look at the types. Oh shoot, I'm a family travel specialist. I need to ask about the kids programs. I need to see the kids club. Or did I take a picture of the lobby and all of the different pools? And did I take notes on it? And by the way, Terrence, I have a development team in Argentina that should say Terrace. And so they get a little Spanglish coming in there. But this is wonderful for me because then I can engage more deeply with that hotel experience and remember and be able to keep that all in one place. So there's my hotel stay. All right. And, again, if you're here, Anjali, the advisors, if they've been on a hosted trip, they cannot add another activity, but you can as the host. If they're doing a self-directed trip, they can create their own itinerary and add additional things here. We'll make that more flexible in the beginning because we know sometimes advisors sneak off and do their own site inspection, or they might do a little pre or post. Right now, they would just create their own pre or post trip to match up with your trip. So those are the key things there. With respect to, so what else do advisors need to know? FamGuru is a new technology, right? So we know there are going to be questions. So you see this question mark in the upper right in the app. If anybody's ever asking you, shoot, I lost the share. Hang on a second. Let me bring that back. Do that on a different page. Pardon me, that sometimes happens. But I will say that when you, in FamGuru, let me just pull this down here so I don't screw up the sharing again, but clicking that, I can report or send feedback. Or if I'm in let's see, on my home screen, oh, where are our videos, gentlemen? My team is working, there should be, in this screen, you either have the ability, we have pre-recorded videos for the advisors. So if they need to see how to add a photo, if they need to see how to delete a photo, if they just need a general overview of how to navigate FamGuru, they will be able to do that within. But I know they're working on some things with the support today, and so it's probably not showing up while they're making some changes, but easy enough to get to. And then also here, you see this little up box with an up arrow? This is where we auto-generate the report. This is export. So yes, I want a PDF of everything that I just saw and learned, because I want to share this with my 400 host agency colleagues, and I want to share this with my clients. And part of the goal here is we need to take that one advisor and 10x that person, 100x that person for all of you. It's all about the sharing, right? Because that's, one person's great. You've invested in one person. 100 people seeing what they've done is even better. And so you'll see that we have basically a snapshot of the overall itinerary and what we were doing along the way. And then we get into more of the details. Let's see. We do need to be able to suppress some of these empty fields. So I will take that, and that's something we're working on. However, here are my notes. It's all there. Here are my photos. And then let's go down. I had some taxi service contacts that were preloaded for me, and here are my thoughts on the taxis in Bermuda. That's actually rather important to an advisor's knowledge there. And then let's get down into the hotel. So here's the preloaded information, and here's my information, my public notes, my private notes, and then by room. There's the ocean view 2 Queens again. Super easy to download this, send it to myself, put it out to my advisor friends, put it out to my clients. We are making this more flexible so that maybe you don't need to share every item on your itinerary with your audience. And so maybe you just need to send the hotel information or just the activity information to your clients. So you will have the capability to do that in the future. However, this for me would be gold, because again, the memory gets fuzzy. And so this is what I always wanted to, I never wanted to spend 8 to 10 hours putting this together. And I never knew I'm not good at layout and design. So this for an advisor really saves us a lot of time. So basically, I know we're getting up to close to the end of our time, but I want to just open it up for questions at the moment. And usually there are a lot of questions. Does it do this? Does it do that? But is there anything? Oh, I know what I need to talk about. I need to talk about how does our business model, right? How do we get paid? How does this all work, right?
That's that important. Would help.
Yeah, you're probably like, important. Don't miss that, Carrie. So I will start by saying it's complimentary for all advisors. Why is that? We want them to use it widely. We don't want any barriers to them using this and to sharing it with all of their colleagues and their clients. And so there's always a free version for advisors. We do have an advisor premium version, and we have a few people who have taken us up on that, but there's always a free version, and they'll have it, today, 2 months from now, 3 years from now, always to refer back to that particular trip they were on with you. From a supplier perspective, we have a subscription model, either by the month or by the year. Currently, we're in a sort of an introductory phase because we're trying to understand what are the features. How software has 3 tiers, usually, low, medium, high, depending on your needs. We haven't done that yet because we're still learning about what people value. And so currently, it's unlimited advisors, unlimited admins on your trip, unlimited fam trips, and it's either right now it's $99 a month, or you can sign up for a year at $75 a month paid at initiation. And that will likely change near the end of September because we're getting to the point where we're starting to bring on more of our supplier clients. But in the beginning, we just want our earlier adopters to be able to, take advantage of that. And there will be different programs in the future, and including a one-off, just one fam trip if that's what you need. And I will mention that everybody gets a free fam trip from a supplier perspective. So if you want to try it, there's no risk. And so that's when you sign up for FamGuru, you can just sign up for the free fam trip version and start playing with it, and and decide if it's something that's worthwhile to you and useful to you. So we recognize it's important to take it from start to finish before you form an opinion. How does it work? How is the interaction with the advisors? Does that address hopefully the question of how it works and how and the costs and how we get paid and all of that?
Yeah, just one question. Can I see how the itinerary looks like for the agent?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back there. I'm still sharing the screen. Itinerary just here. And here we are. So it looks super similar. So as you're going through day by day, it defaults to the day that you're on. And you can always go back and add if you didn't do your notes the day before. And so just like you, they see it just like that. And what we're finding is, even if the advisor is not terribly sophisticated when it comes to technology, they are referencing this as they go along on the trip. So they know what's going on today. They can click in and see the details that you've preloaded about this, the description and what's happening and at what time. Does that help, Richard?
Good. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And so, yes, very, very similar to how you see it.
Now, can this, because one of the things as a hotel, what we have to do is we have to communicate internally
Right.
to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is a very archaic way of doing it, but our the ladies that handle this are very good and very adept
Mm-hmm.
to finding pictures of people on on Facebook and LinkedIn, and they provide the picture of
Right.
each participant, which you
Right.
do automatically here, which
Correct.
the system will do. So everything that we're doing right now, manually and taking the time, you guys have, and once we have everything loaded, I guess, some of the itineraries will remain pretty much the same,
Right.
with the exception, if you're doing a weddings fam trip, it's going to be a little different than you're doing a generic
Right.
fam trip, right? Because your
Right.
focus will be on wedding venues and different things that happen at the hotel. So, I see this as a great opportunity. My
Mm-hmm.
biggest concern is, even though $99 a month doesn't seem like a lot, I think the one-offs might work to your benefit,
Sure.
in getting more hotel. And this is just my perspective, getting
Sure.
more hotels, because on a yearly basis, we probably do, maybe 6 fam trips a year.
Mm-hmm.
We do 2 weddings fam trips, 4, regular fam trips. And some of those fam trips are done through our tour operator partners. So
Right. We can
we
get them on
still,
board too. Yeah.
correct, we still have to create the agenda, the itinerary for those events regardless.
Right. So,
But because of that, it might behoove you to find a way of saying, the one-offs, if you want to try and do it on a one-off and see if it works for you. Fam trips are a lot different, as having been in the travel business for a long time. They're a lot different than they were 15 years ago.
sure. Right.
15 years ago, they got the agent got the got the hotel, they came down and they had a great time. Now the agent's got to pay, they're
Right.
paying for their air, they're paying, in some cases, they're even paying for, part of their stay, even though the hotel may be giving
Right. Right.
the hotel component.
May I mean, we're
to them.
starting to get starting to need to wind down, because we actually have an advisor one in about 10 minutes. So may I leave you with just a couple of thoughts? Your feedback is very appreciated, Richard, about the one-off, because I think that's needed. I do also want to say that let's talk about the definition of a fam trip. And so a fam trip can be the group trip. It's also any opportunity an advisor has to see a property in person. And so it could be lunch and a site inspection. They're just coming through as an afternoon. This can be used for that as well. Or it can be a press trip, or it can be, like you said, the wedding. Also, and you can also duplicate a trip. So if you're doing this, if it's a rinse and repeat, you can duplicate and just change the dates and the name, and change the participants. So outstanding feedback, and I want us to keep in touch on that. And what I really would love is for you all to give it a try. I mean, no obligation to download it, set up, and start playing with it. And I would be more than happy to help you get onboarded and onboard your teams and check it out.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I just wanted to say, I may reach out to you because I may want to show the girl who handles our fam trips on property.
Right.
I should have had her on this call.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
What's so interesting is one of our customers is Ultimate Jet Vacations. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yeah. Actually, they're the ones who directed us to you.
Oh, good. And they have two people that handle all of two full-time people that handle their fam trips. And when we onboarded them, they said, "Oh my gosh, thank you for making this for us." And
Yeah.
so they were thrilled to be able
Good.
to simplify their world. But I will, so just a little bit of information about where to find us, and you can always sign up at our website. I'll follow up with you. I'll send out the recording link to everyone. I'll also send out a what I'll call a vanilla demonstration that's not a webinar, so that you can use that with your team or anyone else who needs to see that. But
Wonderful.
any
Thank you.
last questions? I so appreciate you coming and for your interest. And I just want to professionalize our industry. There's so much we can do around this simple trip to turbocharge us advisors as sellers of your products. And so yeah,
I
we're
agree.
totally aligned. There's so much we can do. And we're also going to be doing FamGuru for agencies, so that the agencies can share all of that information, mine all of that information, and even further expose what their advisors have seen, basically making it the trip
And,
advisor for travel
and I
professionals.
know you got to run. Another thing you should look at and
Yes.
consider is, the subscription being different based on the size of the hotel. If you're an independent hotel
Exactly.
versus a chain.
Big brand. Yeah, exactly. That will happen.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
quite sure of it.
cool.
Great feedback,
Cool.
everybody. And
Thank you.
please reach out to me and let me help you give it a shot. Okay.